Syracuse Orange fans, can you feel the heat?
What is going on, Cuse Nation, and welcome to yet another edition of Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and thank you for joining me. It's finally that time of year, and football is in the air. You know what that means. It's time for us to preview and predict the 2019 Syracuse football season opener. The Orange head down to Lynchburg, Virginia, to take on the Flames Saturday, August 31st at 6 p.m. The game's going to be played at Williams Stadium on the Liberty campus, and you can watch it on ESPN+. Unfortunately, that is not with your normal cable provider. It is a subscription-based ESPN app in which you pay $4.99 a month. There is opportunity for free trial, and they have plenty of content. There is canceling at any time. I know I'm going to subscribe for the month, cancel right after the ball game, and it's really exciting to have the opportunity to watch the Orange. Sometimes you don't even get to watch that season opener against a lower level opponent, so it's very exciting to have the opportunity to watch that game. Without further ado, let's dive right into this preview and prediction and kick off the 2019 Orange Heat football season as well. ESPN is giving the number 22 ranked Syracuse Orange an 84.5% chance to win this ball game on the road. If it was at the Dome, that number would probably go up even more. Right now it's on the road and still only giving Liberty a 15% chance at winning this ball game. Syracuse opened up as 18-point favorites in the spread out west in Vegas. That's very exciting. You know, a lot of people are probably betting on this game. You're kind of assured some money here if you're a Syracuse Orange fan. If I was old enough to gamble, heck, I might think about throwing some money on this game. Who knows? Looking at this Liberty squad, this is a game and a team that scares me. And here's why. First of all, it's a game that you're opening up on the road. Since when do teams go on the road to open up the season? You know, it's something that doesn't happen every year. It's a little bit of a scare, especially that we're playing 2 road games to kick off the season. But let's focus on week 1 here. You open up. It's going to be in a hostile environment. They're expecting a full 24,000-seat sellout at Williams Stadium, which is going to be a factor. Tommy DeVito's first game, you know, you're obviously not playing in a 50,000-seat stadium like the Dome or even a 90,000-seat stadium like some of the other big stadiums around the country. Nonetheless, it's going to be loud. It's going to be hostile. There's going to be a lot of Liberty fans there. They really think that they have a shot to beat our Syracuse Orange. We'll see what happens this upcoming Sunday. But the other thing about this Liberty team is they're brand new. We don't know anything about them, really. You know, under the new head coach, Hugh Freeze, they moved up to the FBS level. They were formerly an FCS school. But this is really their first true season in the FBS. I guess you could say last year was, but they weren't playing for as much. They weren't playing for a bowl opportunity due to the transfer rules from FCS to FBS level. And this is their first year with bowl constituents. This is their first year with a little bit of a stronger schedule. They're just playing for a little bit more, and they have a chip on their shoulder. We're the big dogs that they want to beat. We're their ranked team on their schedule. They're looking for a big highlight win, and this could very well come right here to the Syracuse Orange because of how new of a team this is. There's not much film for this Syracuse football team to watch on the Flames, and Dino Babers said that. How do you prepare for a team that you know nothing about? There's no film out there, and they're deadly. And they're very aggressive through the air. They have a good quarterback, which we'll get into in a little bit. But this game certainly is a little bit of a scare if you're a Syracuse fan. As I said, the Liberty Flames under the head coach Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze formerly led the Ole Miss Rebels to big-time major victories in the SEC and 2 consecutive New Year's Six bowl appearances. They did have a fallout there over in Mississippi with a little bit of a recruiting scandal that unfolded. He left there, stepped away, had some other opportunities for a while. Now he finds himself at Liberty. The thing about them right now is that we don't know if Hugh Freeze is going to be on the sideline. As of right now, he is going to be up in the booth. He had some hospital visits, a few health issues, a back surgery, and he's going to be calling this game from up in the booth. Now, might not be as big of a problem, but it is certainly a little bit of a cause for concern if you're a Liberty fan when your head coach isn't going to be on the sideline to be that presence for your football team, especially in your season opener. So if you're a Syracuse fan like us, it certainly helps you out there, gives you a little bit of an edge, and gives you something to just look at to see how quickly things translate down to the field. With technology nowadays, I don't know how much of an aspect it's going to play. I think the biggest aspect it's going to play is he's not there to motivate his team, talk to his guys one-on-one, stuff like that, because he's going to be calling the plays from up in the booth. Now, last season, the Liberty Flames really did not impress me whatsoever. They did win 6 games, however, going 6-6, 5-1 at home at Williams Stadium. And the thing about this, though, is they had an absolutely atrocious schedule their first year in D1 FBS. I'll read through their schedule real quick here. They kicked off the season against Old Dominion at home. Then they traveled on the road and played at Army West Point. We knew Army was a good team last season. Then they played North Texas at home. They went on the road to play at New Mexico. Then they played at New Mexico State. They hosted Troy, played host to Idaho State, went on the road up north to play at UMass, played at Virginia, who was a good team last year, the Cavaliers, played at Auburn, also a good team, hosted New Mexico State, a little bit of a interesting tidbit there that I thought they played New Mexico State twice early on in the season and later in the season. You typically do not see that in college football nowadays. Then to cap off the season, they did play host to Norfolk State. Now looking at some of their key wins and losses, they got blown out multiple times in that last season. They lost to Army by 24. They lost to North Texas 47-7. That game was a home game as well. They lost down in Virginia by 21, and they lost to Auburn with a shutout game of 53-0. So they could absolutely get wiped off the floor. It's kind of a situation where once you get down by so much, they might lose hope a little bit as well, which we could find ourselves ahead if you're the Syracuse Orange here this upcoming weekend in a situation like that. Their best victory was taking down Old Dominion, who was a team that did beat Virginia Tech last year. And that's kind of a situation that Liberty's hoping for. You know, Old Dominion came in, they made very minimal mistakes. They caught Virginia Tech sleeping a little bit. That's what Liberty's hoping for this game here against Syracuse. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll find out what happens Saturday. They also did finally take down New Mexico State at the second time they played them. They avenged that first loss to New Mexico State. It was a close one, and they took them down the second time in another close game. They also are riding off of a 52-17 victory over Norfolk State to cap off their season. So a little bit of momentum for the Flames. As I said, they believe that they can take down this hungry Syracuse Orange football team. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Let's see. Hugh Freeze is going to be coaching from the booth. And the big thing about that, too, with his health issues, is he missed the entire fall camp. The entire fall camp is absolutely huge. That's when you're building your team. That's when you're building your depth chart. That's when you're getting everything ready and you're previewing what's to come thus far in the season. Fall camp is everything. He missed the entire fall camp. It was up to his assistants to get the job done in fall camp. We'll see how much of a difference that pays in this upcoming season kickoff for both the Flames and the Orange. Malik Willis, an Auburn transfer, did get injured during the camp, which means their quarterback from last year, Stephen Calvert, was named the go-to guy. And I think that was going to happen no matter what. Hugh Freeze really liked his quarterback that played last season. You know, it's kind of a situation where these transfers aren't just going to come in and get handed the opportunity. They got to earn it. Willis wasn't able to do so. But I do think that you're probably to see both Calvert and Willis in this ball game. Willis offers more of a mobile approach at the quarterback position, as Calvert's more of a shotgun, pocket passing quarterback. We'll see what happens this Saturday. But right now, Stephen Calvert is going to be starting for the Orange, and he passed for over 3,000 yards last season. So he's certainly an aggressive and certainly a very capable quarterback. Liberty also has recruited the state of Virginia very well this past offseason. They also have a lot of junior and senior returners returning for a lot of leadership here on this Liberty squad. There's a little bit of a difference here between last year and this year, though, because of the new recruits coming in, because some guys are a year older. So you have the gap between the guys that are older and the gap between guys that are younger. We'll see how they mesh well together going into this season. I'm certainly excited to see how the Orange are going to be able to handle that challenge. Talking about another gap, how about the talent gap between Syracuse and Liberty? Syracuse is a team where we're growing in our recruiting. We have some 4-star guys. Obviously, our quarterback, Tommy DeVito. Good God. I'm so used to saying quarterback Eric Dungy. That one just flew out of my mouth there. Tommy DeVito, 4-star recruit. We have some other 4-star recruits on the team, like linebacker Michael Jones. So excited to see the talent gap there. That's definitely going to hurt the Liberty Flames a little bit in this matchup. And that's another reason why I think the Orange are going to take this one home. Liberty is going to look to get their run game going, and they're going to look for Calvert to make the easy throws and get themselves in good situations early in this ball game. One of the keys to the game, as I'll talk about, is Syracuse silencing this crowd and getting up early in this ball game, because that's really key in an underdog situation, is just pounding them into the ground right from the get-go. Liberty has some belief in them, and if they hang around this Syracuse football team in the early going, that could lead to them hanging around for the whole entire contest. Liberty also has lots of question marks at this team, and one of the biggest spots that these question marks fall is at the wide receiver position. They do have a huge 6'4" senior wide receiver, Antonio Gandy Golden. He caught passes for over 1,000 yards last season with 10 total touchdowns on the year as well. He's one of the best mid-major quarterbacks, or wide receivers out there. What's going on with me today? One of the best mid-major wide receivers out there, and it's definitely going to be a nice early challenge for this very talented and very deep Syracuse football secondary. I'm excited to see that. Liberty also holds a returning 1,000-yard rusher in Frankie Hickson. He had 11 touchdowns on 1,032 yards last season. I'm interested to see how the Orange linebackers are going to handle that little bit of a challenge. I don't want to call it a challenge. You did see the level of competition that they played last year certainly doesn't worry me. I think our linebackers, it'll be good for them to face a decent running back, get under their feet a little bit, and we'll see what happens on Saturday. DJ Stubbs is another junior wide receiver. He caught passes for 631 yards on 50 receptions last season. Another guy to look out for the Syracuse Orange defense to cover up off. If they're going to lock off Golden here really well, then they might look to Stubbs. And you could see Stubbs having a big game. 2 receivers that are dangerous when looking down the field. So we'll see what happens there. The Liberty offense was a little bit off last year. They fumbled the ball 12 times, and there were 18 interceptions thrown. 18 interceptions. That is exciting for this fantastic Syracuse defense and this secondary, who last year were close to leading the nation in total takeaways. We'll see what happens on Saturday, but I think the Orange are going to find themselves with lots of opportunities to take away the football and give Tommy DeVito and this dynamic offense opportunity to move down the field. Field position is also going to play a huge factor in this. We have our special teams punt game with Sterling Hofstrichter, but if you can get takeaways and you can close the gap on the field, get yourself closer to the end zone, that always leads to good opportunities. Another thing about this Liberty team last year, atrocious defense, averaging about 36.8 points per game. They had 2 low outliers in that of 16 and 10 point games. So really that number could be a lot higher compared to the rest of them. I mean, they were averaging up to into the 50s in some of their games here last season. They also allowed big plays downfield, and their secondary is really where they lack here. I think Tommy DeVito and the receivers could absolutely have a field day, especially once they get under their feet a little bit here. And, we're going to look for our run game to stomp it down their throat as well. I could see Mo Neal having a 100 or more yard game, as well as Abdul Adams. Jarvian Howard's going to punch it into the end zone. Can't wait to see what happens there on Saturday. Definitely a good game for the offense to get under their feet, though, with kind of a bad secondary and a bad defense all around. The defensive line for the Orange, obviously head by Kendall Coleman, Alton Robinson. McKinley Williams won't be there this week, but we will have guys like Josh Black in there. They are going to be very exciting, as I think they're going to have no problem with this Liberty offensive line, giving Calvert certainly a hard time, putting him on his back a lot, letting him feel the ground. That's definitely going to be a big key to this game. Now we're talking keys to the game. Let's dive right into the keys to the game. I think the biggest thing that Syracuse has to focus on here is coming in and playing your own game. Don't worry about the crowd. Don't worry about what Liberty's throwing at you. Don't worry about the question marks on this Liberty team. Go in, play the game that you know you're capable of playing. Play the Syracuse Orange Dino Babers system, and I think that will lead to success. It hasn't steered us wrong thus far. In fact, we've knocked off national champion teams like Clemson using that system, playing that game. We just got to use that style of play. We got to play it to our own and completely come out and take over this ball game. The other thing, though, is we can't overlook this Liberty team. As I said, they're a little bit scary. They're hungry. And you see a lot of upsets like that happen when teams are hungry. So we have to come out strong. We have to be the aggressor, and we have to drive the ball down their throats, whether that's making some big hits, whether that's making some big risky plays through the air if you're Tommy DeVito, whether that's breaking free some run game, running some guys over. That's what we need to do. We need to be the aggressor, and we need to really dominate this ball game and control the game for 4 whole quarters. The biggest thing with controlling a game is taking care of the ball. We can't throw the ball away. We can't give them opportunities in short field positions to score and capitalize, because the Orange here need to take care of the football. They need to maintain possessions, chew out the clock late in the game as much as possible, and keep this game under their own Syracuse Orange football control, and we'll see what happens there. Really, we got to come out early. We got to silence this 24,502 seat stadium capacity, and it's going to be a loud crowd. We might have some Syracuse Orange fans there as well, which I think we will. A lot of guys down south. But we got to silence this crowd early, take them out of the game, and really we got to develop the run game, get up early, and keep a foot on the pedal for 4 whole quarters. Don't let up. Don't ever let up. Keep this game grinding, and finally get your guys in there that might not have as many opportunities through the season. Get some of those guys that you plan on redshirting that can appear in 4 games. Get them on the field. Give them some exposure, because that's only going to help the program down the road, and maybe later this season if you need a guy to step in when you're in need. So we'll see what happens there. I'm finally going to give you my prediction here. I know this is a quick one. It's just, this is a team that you don't know much about. There's not a whole lot to cover because there's not a lot of film. They don't have a lot of statistics at the FBS level. Only 1 season. Hugh Freeze, good coach, scary team. This is a road game. We don't know much about them. I'm excited to see what the Orange have, but I eventually think that the talent gap is just going to overpower this Syracuse team. We're hyped as well. Obviously, they want to replicate that 10-win or, if not better season. So I think the Orange are going to have no problem covering the 18.5-point spread right here. I think the Orange are going to go full throttle and take down this team 41-17. Now, why 41-17? First of all, I think this Liberty team is a little bit capable of scoring points here, especially later on in the game. Second half, if they didn't hang around in the first half, you have an opportunity there. But if they don't hang around in the first half and you're reaching the second half, Syracuse is going to put in their second and third, fourth string guys on defense, and that's going to allow the Flames an opportunity to score there. That's why I'm going to give them 17 points. Almost gave them 21. I'm going to give them 17. And why the Orange 41 and why not more? I was thinking about getting into the 50s like we did last year at Western Michigan, but nonetheless, this is Tommy DeVito's first true start. It's the beginning of a new season. There's going to be some mistakes. Tommy DeVito might make an errant pass, a mistake, throw that interception, But you know what? That's an opportunity for him to learn about it and learn from it. And sometimes that's what your young quarterback needs. He needs to learn from his mistakes. And what better game to make mistakes in than playing against a team like Liberty, a team where the talent gap is just so wide. You're that much better than them. So I think the Orange are going to score 41 points. I think it might take a little bit of time for them to score. They might not score till late in the first quarter. I do think they are going to drop 41 points, though. Maybe not around the 50 mark because it will take some time. I think the run game is going to get going. The wide receivers should have a field day. Tristan Jackson is going to be out there. A lot of our receivers as well are undersized, but they still do outsize a lot of the defensive backs in the secondary for this Liberty Flames team. So there you go, Cuse Nation. My final prediction for the Syracuse Orange versus Liberty Flames game this Saturday is 41-17. Guys, stay tuned. We're going to do a lot of live streams here coming up. This Thursday I want to do one for the Clemson Georgia Tech ACC Network kickoff. Friday we can do some as we watch and talk college football. But the big one, we are going to do a live stream on Saturday, this August 31st. We're going to start it. We're going to start a little bit before the game, and we're going to go through the entire first quarter talking our excitement. I want you guys to get on there. We're just going to be pumped together. We're going to talk what to expect for the game. We're going to talk our excitement, talk through the whole first quarter. Maybe if the game's close or something, we'll hop on there again in the fourth quarter. But definitely look out for a live stream this Saturday during the Syracuse Orange football game, guys. Thank you so much for the support. As always, like, comment, and subscribe for more Orange Sheet action. Share it with a friend. And really, that's all I got, guys. So let's go Orange, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Thank you for listening to Orange Heat, done by pursuing sports broadcaster and high school student Giovanni Heater. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at GioHeater. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Syracuse athletics and Orange Heat action. Let's go Orange!